everybody. This is Roctavia Rose with Rock News UK. And with me today, I have Migrant Motel. How are you guys doing today? Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to your international audience?
Yeah, hi everybody. My name's David. I'm the singer.
I am Chava, and I am the drummer.
Yeah, and we're like you said, we're Migrant Motel. Thanks so much for having us.
No worries. So, I actually got turned on to your music by one of my really good friends here in the Chicagoland area. He's like a rock dad to all of us little rocker kids. I think you guys have met him before.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about your experience at Lala and how you met Rad Dad?
Yeah, I mean, Palooza was crazy. It's the first big festival that we've ever played. And it was just like such a huge honor to get called and to be in that lineup and to be able to see Miley Cyrus and Foo Fighters and Oliver Tree, and it was insane. It was amazing. We got to play 2 stages. We finished BMI. We closed the BMI stage on the first day.
Nice.
And yeah, the people that we met, the energy, including, we call him Papa Bones.
Yeah.
It was front row of both of our shows, and it was great to meet him, and yeah, and just be there and have the whole Chicago rock and roll experience.
That's awesome. Yeah. I'm sorry, in between takes you might see me like I got a little fashion going on here.
I'd be playing with it too if I was you.
I wonder if my partner in the UK can edit. Andy, can you edit in some wind chimes? All right, never mind. All right, cool. Okay, so what I want to start with is how you guys got going. Let's go way back. Tell me how you first picked up your instrument and what inspired you each to do so.
Well, what inspired me to pick up drums very specifically was that I was in my 12s. Do you say it like that? In my 12s. I was a kid, and I was feeding my musical taste out of MTV and all that stuff. And, me and my friends wanted to do these bands, to play the music that we were listening, which at the moment, I think it was like late Blink 182, and it was all the emo wave was starting, and we all played guitars, so at some point I was like, I have to pick a different one, and I was really inspired by Travis Barker at the time, so I was like, I'm gonna try that one, and I loved it, and that's how I just like kept learning drums by myself, and I kept playing in different bands with friends, being the drummer, and I played guitar as well, so that's how I also helped in the band writing riffs and all that stuff. But that's how I got into drums, and more specifically music, because of I'd say because of film scores, because I used to watch so many movies as a kid,
Yes.
like I think more than music, because my dad was never like giving me music to listen to, but he would take me a lot to the movies, and he'd just buy me movies. So from Jurassic Park to The Lion King to Back to the Future, Indiana Jones, all that stuff, like I think the thing that caught me the most was the soundtracks, the music, and that's how I started getting very caught in it, and then like listening to whatever was on the radio, which was like Latin American mainstream pop, or US pop, or everything else, and I that's how I started.
That's awesome. Jurassic Park is like one of my most favorite movies. That's so cool. I love that you're a movie buff.
Yeah.
And really, we both are, like, and that's been a consistent theme through our music and music videos. Like, we'll find inspiration through one of our last releases. Bad Machine was kind of based off of The Matrix, and just there's a bunch of different inspirations that we kind of grab from. So it's weird that that's still linked to like the very beginning steps for both of our musicianship.
Definitely. But how did you get into music?
How did I?
No, well, yeah, you too.
Also,
both of you.
Is he throwing it back at me? Yeah, David, you did forget to tell us how you got into music, though. Yeah,
I forgot to tell y'all. I started doing musical theater back in the day just because I had moved to the U.S. and I didn't speak English very well, and I needed to make friends. So I was like, let's do theater, and I'm gonna be forced to make friends. And then my grandpa saw that I was, like being on stage. He was a lifelong musician himself. And then he started teaching me like Peruvian folk music, nothing rock and roll at all. So I learned to play guitar and to sing and to write. Then I met other people here in the States that I could play with, ended up getting, hooked onto AC/DC and Foo Fighters and Glenn Hughes, who as soon as I saw Black Country Communion, one of his older super groups, I was like, oh, he's a singing bass player. That's what I want to do. And then Chava and I met at school in Boston, and we, there's not a lot of huge rock scene at the school we were going to. So we decided, hey, okay, you're drinking coffee in the cafeteria wearing a Sum 41 t-shirt. So we should probably be friends and start working together. And yeah, that's, kind of how we got here.
It's okay to say Berkeley, it's not Voldemort.
No, you can't say. We don't play enough jazz.
I love that you threw the Harry Potter reference in there. Really speaking to my nerdosities today. Thank you.
I wanted to tell you that I wanted to share with you that I thought, since you love Jurassic Park, my first dream job was not to be a musician, it was to be a paleontologist like Alan Grant, because of those movies.
I wanted to be a paleontologist too. I was obsessed with dinosaurs as a little girl. Land Before Time. I had all the dinosaur books, calendars. I even had that little puzzle that you put together of like a T-Rex, and it glows in the dark. It's like a 3D puzzle. And
I remember that, yeah.
You remember that?
I remember that.
It was my most favorite toy. I miss it. I wish I still had it. It would be sitting on my mantle. I promise you it would. It was like one of my most favorite things. Because here in Chicago, they introduced Sue the dinosaur. It was the most complete T-Rex. She was the most complete T-Rex that they found, and assembled her and brought her to our museum here in Chicago. And I was over the moon, so excited. Like,
that is
super
cool.
But yes, okay. We can talk about dinosaurs, but let's get back.
I'm watching Dinosaurs on Disney Plus right now.
Okay, one more dinosaur tangent. There's this band from Finland, and they're supposed to be like a children's band. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the metal band that dresses up like dinosaurs.
They're called
the fuck out of here.
No, I'm serious. I'm super serious. They dress up like dinosaurs, and the lead singer dinosaur, like they sing in their dinosaur costumes, they play their drums, they actually are playing the instruments on stage, and they have like pyro, and mostly their audience is kids, but they had to start saying like kids up in front because adults show up to their shows and they mosh and they love it. But it's a Finnish children's dinosaur metal band. They're called Heavisaurus.
Wow. I wouldn't be surprised if Spotify already has a custom playlist for that genre.
I think they've come to Mexico, and that's why I know.
Yeah, they did. Yes. So I think their Instas ran out of Mexico from like their Mexican fans, and like they're pretty well known down there actually. So I love that you know who they are. Nobody knows what I'm talking about. They think I'm crazy. But yeah. Also, I wanted to comment on like go back to like the musical influences, the bands that got you guys going. I see David, you have David Bowie in the background there. So why don't you guys go ahead and give me a little taste of like your most influential artists that got you going?
Yeah, I think Chava and I differ. We're both from the school of rock. Like it's all rock and roll. I tend to do a little bit older rock and roll. My favorite band when I discovered rock music, and still is my favorite band, is AC/DC. And so I'll do a lot of Zeppelin, Deep Purple. Glenn Hughes that I mentioned earlier is like my guy. and now modern day, a lot more alt stuff, going back a little bit to like Nine Inch Nails, and then how that kind of crosses over to Oliver Tree and Upsal, Royal Blood even. So those are kind of I think now Chava and I have we have a closer taste of rock that's current, but as far as old school, you go a different way, don't you, Chava?
Yeah, sure. Like I said, I just watched MTV, and that was what my way of exposure for music. So, I'd listened to everything that blasted, from Linkin Park to Blink-182 to, I loved Britney Spears, the Backstreet Boys. I loved even Ash. I don't know why I thought about it. Ashley Simpson, everything that blasted, Fall Out Boy. Obviously, plus since I watched MTV Let M, so every Mexican alt band that happened at the time, so like, I don't know, Molotov, other punk pop bands from the time, and like, I don't think it's an influence, but Café Tacuba, which is a band from Mexico that it's huge. They're actually pretty big around the world too. So those things stuck with. But I guess I grew up more on the American British side of.
I kind of wonder what like new generations are gonna do without that heavy music video influence. This is what worries me about social media, and like the lack of avenues that are kind of creative and expressive for creative arts. Yesterday we had a social media crash.
It was great.
Yeah. Everything was down as far as like the monopoly of Facebook with Instagram and WhatsApp. So people had to Twitter kind of got hit hard, but other than that, people kind of had to figure out what to do. But I kind of think it's good because, you've got to create when you have that downtime and you're kind of not just stuck on a phone. I think that people need to spend more time creating instead of scrolling, and that yesterday kind of highlighted that. So I'm kind of wondering how it's going to affect future creative markets and the imagination of creatives and movies, how movies are influential on musicians and MTV is influential on musicians, and that's a big factor of the music of now, the new stuff coming out now. We're on the back end of all that stuff. So what avenue that's really heavy embedded that's going to be that influential, full artists, full songs that stick with you and kind of have those childhood memories, like a movie or sitting in your living room watching MTV. You know what I mean?
Totally. Yeah, I think it's a different thing. I don't think it'll be the same for the generation that's coming up next, and are the younger rockers that will eventually kind of carry the torch. But I don't think there's a way to stop that kind of influence. Maybe before, and that's what it is. Zeppelin used to write songs on Nordic mythology that they would read and see paintings of, and they'd be cool. And that kind of evolved to people like us, that we see a movie and we do that. So the next step is going to be I don't know, some crazy VR experience or an Oculus video game, or even was it that Travis Scott did a thing for the super popular video game, the one shooting video game that I'm terrible at.
I don't play violent video games.
Shut up.
With his gaming headphone on.
Yeah, seriously.
They're not gay.
But it was really cool because Travis Scott just showed up in the middle of this thing, and he was it was him, but it was a giant. He was 12 stories. So he was bigger than all the buildings, and he was walking around, and that was crazy. So there's new ways of expression that are gonna seem weird and maybe not as cool to us, but to the younger population, I think it's just as valid and can be just as inspiring.
That's a good point.
That's best case scenario. That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, no, I like the positivity, and I think it's a very valid point. I just don't want that imagination or creativity to fall by the wayside. And it seems like in mass, it tends to when, like, you know, most of the time screens are lit up. But like let's try to keep the positive route. I like your glass half full kind of viewpoint.
Rose colored glasses, yeah.
Right. So let's roll through. I think we covered 2 of my next questions. Oh, so what has been your most memorable moment as a band so far?
That's easy.
You go for it, John.
Let's see if you
Palooza.
I think Lollapalooza, and specifically for me, within the Lollapalooza experience, there was a moment that it was during an unreleased song, and we kind of extended this little breakdown period during the song, and I made everybody like get down, like get really low, and then I counted them off for everybody to jump and scream, and like we had rehearsed it for months, and I just didn't know if people, first and foremost, we didn't know if anybody was gonna fucking show up to our set. So I may be telling, 10 people and my mom to like get down and then get back up. And then if there were people, why would they listen to me? Why would they do anything that we asked them to? And the stage was packed and everybody did it. Everybody got low. Everybody freaked. It was like, wow. And it was crazy. So that moment for me was like, whoa, we're doing it.
I think I saw some video of that. It did look pretty epic. You definitely had this air of joy on your face and looked like a kid in a candy store.
That's how it felt.
I always tell him that that's his graduation as a frontman, and if now that I think about it, like the first time I saw David was at a 5-week from Berkeley, and he was like one of the rock all-stars, so they had like a big ensemble, at the end of the course where they played for the Berkeley Performance Center, and everyone went to see that, and I went with a friend, and he was like, playing this song, and we always joke about this amongst friends because he was like very young, saying like, firing up the crowd, like how are you doing, and do this and do that. And my friend and I were like, a little older, and we were like, this kid's not gonna tell us what to do. We were just like sitting down and not listening. So thinking about that moment of saying, being a total dumb shit kid who just didn't want to be participant, and then being behind David in Lollapalooza and seeing him do that, I think is to me, it was like, I felt proud of him achieving that as a frontman because that's what he is. But I also felt, just happy to be, contributing to him doing that on stage with him, So I think it's 2 points that sort of feel related in a funny way,
Yeah. Moments like that, there's something extra special about moments like that. So I can definitely see where you guys are coming from. And the fact that like there's only 2 of you guys have to be so close-knit. Like, what do you do like in your creative process? Like, how do you work things out with writing? Like, do you guys ever have any disagreements, or is it always just smooth sailing?
Oh no, we hate each other all the time. No, I think we've been writing for a long time, and Chava lives in Mexico City and I live in LA. So we try to get together as often as we can, but a lot of the times the creative process is a lot of WhatsApp messages, a lot of studio in the cloud. We send files and we go, hey, what do you think about this? And we've gone through plenty of creative frustration to kind of create a process that lets us be as least frustrated. Like, we got a thing like every 2-3 hours that I'm in the studio with the producer over here, we got to make a bounce and we got to send it over to Chava. And so everyone's kept in the loop, because all of a sudden, sometimes the producer and I get too excited, and, a session later, the song sounds nothing like what it sounded like. And Chava goes, what the fuck is this? What, So we go back and forth and justifiably so. So I think the push and pull of our opinions and how much we love this project and how much we, where we see it going is the sweet spot. It's where we end up, where we land, that's given us any amount of success. So we've learned a lot from it, but it's a pretty cool process.
That's pretty interesting. Like, you guys have to have a heap of patience to like communicate a writing process and come out with the like material, the songs that you have so far. You just released a new single, am I right?
Yes, maybe a month ago, 2 months ago. Sweat.
Yeah,
Yes.
Sweat's the latest one.
So like, was that part of a process where you guys were creating this not to like when you're in the same space?
No, that was mostly you.
Yeah, that was me and our friend Evan, who's a writer here. But we definitely had a bunch of like that original version started sounding like a big anthem, ex-ambassadors stadium kind of thing. And then it like slowly turned into like this different thing, and the producer grabbed it, and then I was like, there's no way, I hate it. And then I remember there being plenty of times that we would send you something, Chop, and you'd be like, well, no, the other version was better, and let's go back and forth. So yeah, it's always between the team. There's maybe Peter, who's our producer, and we'll often work with a couple different writers. So between the 4 or 5 cooks in the kitchen, we're beating each other up pretty badly, but we know that it's for the song. It's what you got to do, and treat each other with patience, and everyone's involved in it to create something cool. So as long as you keep that in mind.
I know we're coming out of the pandemic situation, but how often do you guys get to gig? Like, what will your ultimate tour look like? Who are you opening for? Who are you touring with?
Well, that's the thing. Before the pandemic, when we were at Berkeley, we played a lot, like to Boston, New York, Rhode Island. We gigged a lot, and then we moved to Los Angeles, and we didn't stop. Like, we actually kept, like, we played two shows a week, like, no bullshit, and we got to play most of the cool venues that you have to play, like the Viper Room, the Troubadour. We opened for Black Flower and the Troubadour. Before we left Boston, our last gig there was opening for Café Tacuba at House of Blues. So we were doing really, really well at gigging. Yeah, the problem was that 2017, I had to come back to Mexico. I also wanted to come back to Mexico because of my visa ending. So it was a long process of having to play fewer shows. We started playing in Mexico as well, but from 2018 till today, we played about maybe 10 shows a year, which were like some shows in California, some shows in Mexico, and my visa came a couple weeks before Lollapalooza, so now we can gig way more. But it's been an investment, and it's been a planning and making friends, and planning shows in both countries, and that's what we used to do for the past 2 years. Like, let's do couple gigs in LA, and then fly to Mexico and do a few and do some shows down here, and keep us rolling in that matter. And right now, I think things are gonna change drastically, because we're gonna gig a hell lot more.
Love it. I'm excited. I'm kind of bummed I missed your Lollapalooza performance, but I've been working nonstop. It's been but like, hopefully in the future I'll be able to catch your live show and get recordings of it, and so we'll be able to post it for Rock News as well. So that would be really cool.
Oh yeah.
What do you guys do when you are working and doing everything? Like, what do you do to wind down nowadays for fun? I know we talked about movies and stuff like that, but what's your favorite thing to do to kind of just decompress?
Yeah, I play a shameful amount of FIFA. Play a lot of FIFA. I love playing soccer. I know Chava is a fantastic goalkeeper. We used to play in Boston until he retired because you injured your wrist and you got nervous, right? Pinky?
Oh. Yep.
My pinky got like, have you watched this film Vertical Limit? I don't know how do you say it. Where they climb K2 and all die, everyone dies, and at some point of the movie,
spoiler alert, dude.
Sorry, spoiler
one of those like warnings, like spoiler.
No, I don't remember the movie. It was with Chris O'Donnell, but one of the characters, like their pinky, like goes to the other side. So did mine, goaling. So I stopped.
So that's why Chava hung up his boots.
Yeah.
But I still play. I like playing soccer. I like cooking. I feel like this is turning into a dating profile. But it's I think honestly the thing that, because recently we've been tackling looking at tours, going on tour with other bands, and then we have the question of, okay, well, give us your rider and what are the obvious musical you need, and then health things, but then what do you want for hobbies? And for me, it was like my PS4 with FIFA and a soccer ball, and I'm chilling. That
we watch a lot.
We
of
do
South
watch a
Park
lot of
too
South
when
Park.
we're together working. That helps. Always brings a laugh to the producer and the both of us. Yeah.
I don't know how I would ever tour, because I would need like pinball and air hockey, stuff like that, like consistently.
It's just a bigger tour bus. That's all that means.
So, man, we've been talking for a minute. I'm running out of time.
It's a great chat.
It doesn't even seem like it.
Yeah.
Wow, it is. So what's in store for the near future for you guys? Like, what do you got coming up on the docket? I know you just released the new single Sweat, but can you give us any other spoilers?
Yeah, we have more new unreleased music than we literally know what to do with. So we have a lot of music. We're very excited about all of it. We're exploring features. We're exploring some things of bilingual nature.
Oh, cool.
We're very antsy to get on the road again, especially after this Lollapalooza moment. So we're going to be keeping very, very busy, especially now that hopefully things continue to open up safely and things get a little bit more, we move out of the COVID phase, hopefully. We'll be all over the place.
Fantastic. So, I always like to kind of cap things off with a strange question, kind of a weird question. Your music seems pretty versatile. So I was wondering, what, if any, television show or series would you want your music to be featured on, and why, if you can pick one?
Question. I don't know. I think our music, like you say, is very versatile because it can be very sexy and dark.
Mm-hmm.
I like to think he actually has a TV show that got canceled, but I like to think we're a little bit like David Fincher, because David Fincher is very dark and commercial, and it's really entertaining at the same time. And his movies, TV series are always like fun and can be sexy too, because I think Seven's from David Fincher. So if you had Brad Pitt who's sexy, but you have a fucking dark movie, so I would say we're like a David Fincher kind of thing.
Yeah. I could definitely see it on like Lucifer. Have you ever seen the series Lucifer?
Yeah.
I could see it like definitely on some of those like bumps in between, like would really work well.
For sure. Yeah. I think things like Lucifer. I remember there being this show called The Young Pope that was really cool.
Yeah.
And like all these kind of, what I say, just anything that feels really cool. That's like the most generic shit I could ever say. But it's true. It's like if there's a character that's like walking away from an explosion.
Oh yeah.
there's a good chance that if you play one of our songs behind him, it's gonna look all right.
Also, like very sexual thematics. Like the other day, I was watching these. I don't know why Netflix Mexican TV shows are always so sexual, but like every scene where there was a sexual tension or moment or someone was like ready to have sex, I was like, you could literally play some of our songs in here and it would fit perfect because it's very dirty and it's just like slow and nasty. And I looked at the songs they were choosing to play, which were rock songs as well. So I was like, yeah, like a song like Keep It Down, Your Religion, or Sweat would be fantastic. Well, you know, they're getting it on. So something like that works too.
And we have a Spotify for Artists account. You know, we see, especially on Spotify, all the playlists that are being made with our music, and it reflects all that stuff too. It's all like, you know what's going down, winky face, or like 3 a.m. gotta get down, or like, you know, like the titles of these playlists are like Call Me Daddy, Smack Me Harder. Like these are the playlists that people are using our music for. So yeah, we're stoked about our fan base.
All right. On that note, so why don't you guys go ahead and like plug your socials, and then just give everybody kind of a heads up or an idea where to head to find everything that you want your international audience to see.
Yeah, I mean, socials are Migrant Motel, everything. migrantmotel.com and Migrant Motel on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok. I don't even know if I'm forgetting some, but Spotify, Apple Music, literally everywhere. We're very active on Instagram. We're going to be more active on TikTok because we fucking need to.
We're going to try, yeah.
We're going to try. And
I'm guilty too. Like I set it up and it's just blank, and I'm like,
yeah. Well, we're gonna figure something out though. But yeah, we love engaging with people, and if you dig our music and wanna chit chat, we're always there. And yeah, lots more to come.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So I want to thank you guys so much for taking the time out to chat with Rock News UK today and myself. I look forward to hearing everything that you guys have coming up for all of us out here. And I look forward to hopefully seeing some live music too in the near future. But until then, definitely take care of yourselves, and thank you so much for your time. This has been Roctavia with Rock News UK, and our time with Migrant Motel is now unfortunately over, but I'm gonna give you guys a chance to say goodbye to everybody.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. Thank you for having us.
No problem.
Yeah. It was a lovely chat.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.